Namaste. Hello everyone. This is Vinayak and I'm back with a new topic today from the political science for class 10. Uh, the chapter's name is political parties. In this chapter we shall discuss about various political parties and what are its functions and all those things, and I'm going to share few slides with you for your understanding. Now, in this slide, we are going with a picture of our parliament. What are political parties? It is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power in the government. It is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power in the government. They agree on some policies and programs for the society with a view to promote the collective good. They shall have some policies, they plan some policies and programs for the society, for the betterment or to promote the collective good, what is required for the people, for the society. They try to gather those requirements and they bring it as policies and they try to promote it. A political party tries to convince people that its policies are better than others' policies. They try to win elections so that they can implement their policies. Here, what they do, they try to convince people. They try to make the people happy by doing some of the works in the society, and with their policies they try to bring out the best policies than other policies. That is, other policies means other policies of other political parties, and they try to, with this they try to win the elections so that they can implement their own policies. Thus parties reflect fundamental political division in a society. So these parties reflect the fundamental political divisions in the society. How division comes? If one or more than one political parties are there in the society, then as per their policies there will be division in the society. Parties are about a part of the society and thus involve partisanship. Partisanship means we are going to learn about it in coming slides. Partisanship is like following a particular ideology or policies of a particular political party. Thus, a party is known by which part it stands, for which policies it supports, and whose interests it upholds. That is, it is known by which part it stands for, what policy it supports, and what interest it upholds. A political party has three components. This is very, very important. What are those three components? So always during examinations you get 1 mark question from this. What are the three components of the political party? They are: one, the leaders, the active members, and the followers. So you all know who is the leader, and the active members means those who take part in the functioning of that political party, and the followers who follow the ideology and the policies of that particular political parties. Functions of a political party. What are the functions? Elections. They take part in the elections and they have even their own internal elections. That's why in a political party you find various designations and posts like president, secretary, general secretary, members, politburo members, then all these things, spokesperson, all these are the members are selected among the political parties by conducting elections. Why they conduct election? To bring discipline in the internal part of the political. Declaration of the policies. They give the declaration of the policies. Molding of public opinion. To form and run the government. When they win the elections, they have to form the government and uh, run the government and run the administration. They need to form the government. The role of opposition. If they lose the elections, they sit in the opposition and they have to follow the role of opposition. Parties play a decisive role in making law. Whatever laws are implemented in our country, these parties play a decisive role in making these laws. How? All the elected representatives in the legislature and the parliament, they need to take the representation of the people. They take the representation of the people to the parliament and the legislature, where a debate is conducted, and after the debate, two-thirds of acceptance, majority must be there to give the acceptance to pass a bill. What we call to pass a law, we call it as pass a bill. And then once it is accepted with two-thirds acceptance, then it will be the bill is passed, and through the judiciary system, the law is implemented. Parties provide people access to the government machinery and welfare schemes. Parties provide people access. People go to the parties and the parties give the access to the government machineries and welfare schemes. Need for a political party. What is the need for a political party? It is very difficult to imagine democracy without political parties. It is very difficult. In a democracy, everyone has a right to speak. Everyone has a right to choose the government. Everyone has a right to be a part of the government. So, we cannot imagine without a political party. There is no democracy, because without political parties, every candidate in the elections will be independent. So, no one will be able to make any promise to people about any major policy changes. If there is any major, if the people want any major changes, it is through a political party only. The voice goes from the people through political party to the parliament. The government may be formed, but its life will remain even ever uncertain. Elected representatives will be accountable to their respective constituencies, not for the country. So the government can be formed, but its life means here a government can be formed for every 5 years. It remains uncertain whether they come to power after 5 years or not. But elected representatives from every constituency, from their respective constituency, they are accountable to the people. The government is not accountable to the people. It is accountable, but mainly elected representatives are more important for the country. needed some agency to gather different views on various issues and to present these to the government. Some people are needed, agency is needed to gather different views. Who can do it? These can be done only by the political parties. Now, how many parties should we have? How many political parties should we have? There are three types of systems, that is single party system, bi-party system, multi-party system, and we shall study in our country what we are following. First of all, you understand what is one party system. One party system is a system in which a single political party has the right to form the government, usually based on existing constitution. See, one party system means in that country a government is formed, only one party is existing and they have right to form the government. Usually they follow complete constitution of that country. Examples are People's Republic of China under the United Front or National Front in former East Germany. Now we don't have any East Germany or West Germany. Germany is unified now. So we can take China as the best example because now presently China is a very playing an active role in the world politics, economy and everything because of the pandemic what we are facing, the COVID-19 what we are facing in the world. This will be memorable for centuries in future also. So China has only one single party, political party, and that is the Republic of China, what we call, where it is only the People's Republic of China, they call, and for that they follow the communist ideology, only the communist ideology. Two-party system. Two-party system is a system where two major political parties dominate politics within a government. Only two political parties, they play a major active role within a government. For example, majorly it is in United States of America and then one of the Caribbean governments, Jamaica and Malta. The sense of two-party system describes an arrangement in which nearly all elected officials belong to one of the two major parties and third parties rarely win any seats in the legislature. So either there would be a ruling party and the opposition party. Multi-party system. This is a system what we follow in our country, India. Multi-party system is a system in which multi-political parties have the capacity to gain control of the government offices separately or in coalition. What do you mean by coalition? You already studied in the previous classes. Coalition means after the elections, if no political party gets the complete majority, then like-minded parties, they come together and they form the government. This type of government is called a coalition government. Presently, from past 3 to 4 terms in our country, after late 1990s, we have only coalition governments only. Okay, presently now we have NDA government we call. Even though BJP is the largest political party, with number of seats, but it has formed a coalition government by taking all its partners like Akali Dal, Shiv Sena. Okay, now Shiv Sena has come out of the government, and many other political parties. So they are all like-minded parties, and they are the partners, like Bihar government, like then some of the political parties like AIADMK, they are all supporting parties. Akali Dal, Shiromani Akali Dal of Punjab. These parties are all supporting the BJP. So they are all combined. Previously, Telugu Desam Party in the 2014 government also. They were a part of NDA. Now they are out of NDA. Like that, many of the parties, they are all together, and then they formed a coalition government. Previously, before 2014, even the Congress was the largest, but they were with Samajwadi Party and Bahujan Samaj Party and many other political parties. They were together, and they had with the DMK, they formed a government, and they used to call it as UPA government, United Progressive Alliance. So like this, there are coalition government system only is being followed after 1990s in our country. It reflects the various minority arguments on an issue. The multi-party system tends to divide the people into many different factions that the majority is completely lost, leaving only a set of competing minorities in the best of majority of, like that. Multi-party system, numerous major and minor political parties hold a serious chance of receiving office, and because they all compete, a majority may not control the legislature, forcing the creation of a coalition. Now, in our country, in simple, all this can be explained in a simpler form. After 1990s, there was a major change in our political system, because the third part of our system, of our federal system, where the Panchayat Raj system was given more powers in the constitutional amendment during the 1990s, early 1990s. You studied in this chapter 2, federalism. In that, decentralization we studied, even in power sharing also. So after this decentralization, after there were a lot of amendments, what happened? Regional parties emerged a lot, like local regional parties like DMK and AIDMK in Tamil Nadu, Telugu Desam Party in Andhra Pradesh, then Biju Janata Dal in Orissa, the Janata Dal in Bihar, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, like that, many political parties. They emerged local, now TRS in Telangana. We have many parties, they are called the regional parties, and they could gather lot of voting percentage, and they became more powerful in the regional areas, and they could secure a lot of Lok Sabha seats and legislative seats, and even they formed the governments also. And with these representatives, or with these Lok Sabha seats, they became the turning point of formation of the government, or they became a part of the formation of government. Which type of government? To form the coalition government, because the national parties could not gain the majority. So they need a support of these reasonable parties to form the government. So this became a major role. Regional parties are playing a major role in forming the coalition governments, and the national parties lost control over the regional governments, state governments. They were not able to form the state governments because they are losing the competition with the regional parties. So here internationally when we go, we have examples of Brazil, Denmark, Finland, India also, Mexico, Spain, Norway, Sri Lanka, etc. are the examples of nations. They have used a multi-party system effectively in their democracies. Now political parties in India are divided into two types: national political parties, regional political parties. So what is national political? These exist, operate and function throughout the country, throughout India. So what are the requirements? It should secure at least 6% of valid votes at the last general elections of or last assembly elections which were conducted. Now that is, and or last election, they should have contested in the last elections, assembly elections, at least in 4 states is recognized as a national party. Means here any political party which has secured at least 6% of valid votes in the previous general elections for at least 4 states, they should contest. It should not be a regional party only in particular one state. It should contest in 4 states. Then it can be recognized as a national party. Now example, we have our regional parties like Telugu Desam Party or the Telangana Rashtra Samiti or AIDMK or DMK in the local, their respective states. They cannot become a national party unless they contest in 4 states, various different states. Like Telugu Desam going and contesting in Orissa, neighboring states like Tamil Nadu, Orissa, or TRS, or Jharkhand or Chhattisgarh. Like that, if they contest and they get 6% of valid votes in those states, then they can be considered as a national party. They can apply for national party. The Election Commission of India has recognized the following parties as national political parties for the elections. The first one is Indian National Congress. It is one of the oldest political party of our country. This party was formed before independence, that is in the year 1885. And you know who was the founder? Founder was a British officer. His name was A.O. Hume, Hume, A.O. Hume. It is one of the oldest parties in India. The party has played a dominated role in Indian politics at the national and states level for several decades, almost up to 1970s. It was almost the what we call one-man show. It emerged as the largest party members in the Lok Sabha elections held in 2008. Always it is used to emerge till 1970s. Then later it lost some of the seats and it lost control, and then the coalition system of governments came, and again it emerged as the largest party members in the Lok Sabha elections in 2008, and its symbol, you all know, it's the hand. Ideologies of the Congress. It is a centrist party, neither rightist or leftist in its ideological orientation. It never followed. Leftist means the communist way or the rightist. The party supports new economic reforms but with a human face. They wanted to bring a lot of economic reforms. The party has full faith in secularism. They say they follow full faith in secularism. That is uh, respecting and following all the religions, because India is a secular country. The party aims at the welfare of the weaker sections and the minorities. Minorities means in our country we have Hindus as the majorities, and minorities are the Islam, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, Buddhists, and many more. So all these, they want to aim the welfare for these minorities. Next is Bharatiya Janata Party. The party was founded in the year 1980 by reviving the Bharatiya Jansangh. The party wanted to build a strong and modern India by drawing inspiration from India's ancient culture and values. They never want to leave our ancient traditional cultures and values. And the major role of forming this party was by a leader called Shama Prasad Mukherjee. Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee. Cultural nationalism or Hindutva is an important element in its conception of Indian nationhood and politics. They wanted to bring cultural nationalism, as Hindus are more in our country. So they wanted to bring Hindutva. They want full territorial and political integration of Jammu and Kashmir with India. Because after we got independence and after we had a lot of disturbance and wars with Pakistan, our neighboring country, where Indian government had parted with the Jammu and Kashmir by giving it a special status, completely autonomous powers to them by the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, which they had given Article 370, and Jammu and Kashmir had a separate constitution, and they had a separate national flag and all those things which come under Article 370, which they wanted to integrate with the country, because BJP considers Jammu and Kashmir as our internal territory and state. It should not be separated. And as of now, we saw the integration of Jammu and Kashmir and removal of Article 370 in this particular in the year 1919, after they came to power. It was abolished. Next is Communist Party of India, Marxist, CPIM. This party was formed in the year 1964. The party believes in Marxism and Leninism. These are, what is Marxism and Leninism? These came from the ideologies given by the two great communist leaders of Russia, Karl Marx and Lenin. The party support socialism, secularism, and democracy, and opposes imperialism and communalism. They do not believe in imperialism. Imperialism means rule by a foreigner. and or foreign nation, and communalism, that is the religion based politics. It doesn't support. They support secularism, that is all are equal. Socialism is equality, no rich no poor. The party concepts democratic elections as a useful and helpful means for securing the objective of socio-economic justice in India. The party is critical of the new economic policies that allow to the free flow of foreign capital and goods in the country. It supports the foreign policies. Then next is Bahujan Samaj Party. This party was played more active role in the Uttar Pradesh, in the state of Uttar Pradesh. The party was formed in the year 1984 under the leadership of Kanshiram. Kanshiram, his picture is there in the slide, and the other one is his follower Mayawati. You know Mayawati very well. She had formed the BSP government, was formed in Uttar Pradesh many times, and it is active in the neighboring states of Madhya Pradesh and Punjab, Haryana, and Uttarakhand. That's why it is considered as a national party. More than 4 states, it has active legislatures also in the neighboring states also. What are the ideologies? The party seeks to represent and secure power for the Bahujan party, which includes the Dalits. That is, they have the major share with the Dalits, the Adivasis and the OBCs, low caste groups, and other religious minorities. The party inspires from the ideas and teachings of Sahu Maharaj, Mahatma Phule. Mahatma Phule is from Maharashtra, Pune. Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. B.R. Ambedkar, etc., stands for the cause of securing the interests and welfare of the Dalits and oppressed classes. And the symbol of this party is the elephant. Then next comes NCP, Nationalist Congress Party. This is a breakaway from the Congress Party, and this party was formed in the year 1990 following a split in the Congress Party. The party espouses democracy, Gandhian secularism, equality, etc. It has emerged as a major political party in the state of Maharashtra, and the leader of that party is again Sharad Pawar, none other than veteran previous Indian National Congress leader Sharad Pawar. And now presently in the 2019 elections, it is one of the coalition part of Maharashtra government. Regional parties, state parties. Now in these regional parties, before coming to regional parties, one more thing I would like to share. In this nationalist party, along with this, even this NCP party is active in the northeastern states. Along with Sharad Pawar, one more leader and former Speaker of Lok Sabha, P.A. Sangma. Even he is also one of the important leader of this NCP, and even the NCP is active in the northeastern states. Here in Maharashtra, neighboring state Gujarat, it is active. NCP is active. So these states, that's why it is considered as a national party. Regional parties and state parties. The party which originates in a particular region or state and works for it and its people is called the regional political party, because they are working for a particular region and they are more active in that areas. A party that secures at least 6% of the total votes in an election to the legislative assembly of a state and wins at least two state seats in a recognized is a recognized is recognized as a state party. These exist, operate and function at the regional level only. For example, Akali Dal, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, Telugu Desam Party, um, TRS Telugu, uh, Telangana Rashtriya Samiti, or the party YSRCP, like that. These are the regional parties. Challenges of political parties. What are the challenges of these political parties? There is a lack of, if there is a lack of internal democracy. What is internal? Starting we discussed. Lack of internal democracy means there should be discipline inside the political party itself. The office bearers and all, they should have a proper system of election, and then internally the views or the policies or the discussions should be very healthy. Dynastic succession. We see a lot of dynastic succession, like in the Indian National Congress. Jawaharlal Nehru, his daughter Indira Gandhi, then her sons Sanjay Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi. Again, Rajiv Gandhi's wife Sonia Gandhi and children Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi. Like that, this is a dynastic succession. Tamil Nadu, Karunanidhi, his children, Maran family, as well as Stalin and those. And every state you see many political leaders, many veteran senior political leaders, again their children contesting elections in their family. Then like that, every state we have a lot of dynastic succession. Whether they are capable or not, whether they are liked by the people or not, we do not have any idea. But dynastic succession continues. Money and muscle power, using money and muscle power and winning the elections. Lack of meaningful choice to the voters. The voters or the people are not getting choice to the voters because of these political parties. How can be parties reformed? How they can be reformed? Anti-defection law. This is a major change in our political system. Anti-defection law. MLAs or MPs cannot change their parties after the election. After the election, horse trading takes place, and when they, after winning the election, for the greed of the ministry birth, or they want to become ministry, uh, the political party which they might have contested, that has not come to power, so they jump to the other political parties. This was done because many elected representatives were indulging in defection in order to become ministers or for cash rewards. So all this, there a law is passed. Affidavit. The Supreme Court passed an order to reduce the influence of money and criminals. What they did during election, every political party or a candidate must spend only one particular limited amount for the campaigning of their political party. So it is mandatory now that they have to submit an affidavit to the Supreme Court and the Election Commission. For every candidate who contests election to file an affidavit giving details of their property and criminal cases and money what they have, and any cases pending against him or her, but there is no system of check if the information given by the candidate is true or not. Before they file the nomination, they have to sign this, they have to submit an affidavit to the election commission. Steps taken by the election commission. The election commission passed an order making it necessary for the political parties to hold their organizational election and file their income tax returns. Even they are accountable to the political parties are accountable to the election commission about their income. And why they have to file their income tax returns? Because they get lot of donations. They may be from the foreign countries or from the local people or from the industries, industrial people, influential people, etc. So now recently there is a inquiry regarding some foreign funds which have come to few political parties. So that will be scrutinized by the election commission. Proposals for electoral reforms. What were the proposals? Provision of state funding of elections. Many people are of the opinion that with the purpose to check the misuse of money power, provision of state funding of elections should be made. So misuse of money power should not be there, because you generally see even a small municipal elections are being conducted. There also a lot of money is distributed by the political parties for procuring votes from the people. Check on the misuse of official machinery. The election commission has given the following code of conduct. Before elections, there will be code of conduct. The election should be held under the supervisions of the caretaker government. Once election dates are announced, existing government also belongs to one political party. So they should not pass any new programs or they are not allowed to use the funds of the government, and they are not allowed to implement any new programs or policies. So that's why the election should be held under the supervision of the caretaker government. They are not allowed to take any decision. The minister should not be allowed to take part in the functions arranged with government expenditure. They should not use the government funds or expenditure. The ministers should not be allowed to use the government vehicles. If the ministers go for their campaigning, their political meetings and all, they should use their private vehicles. They should not use the government vehicles. Provision to minimize the number of candidates. It is commonly seen that large number of candidates contest elections, and sometimes their number crosses hundreds, in which becomes a headache for the electoral officers. So efforts should be made to discourage the non-serious candidates from contesting elections. Proper revision of voters list. The voters list should be revised at regular intervals, and names of the dead or bogus voters should be deleted from the lists, and name of the new eligible voters be included in these lists. So all these things we need to check. So all the election system and what is the need for the political parties. So the people should decide before choosing an political parties to elect them or to cast the vote. Before that, the candidate is very important. Whether the particular candidate is having a good character and helping to the society, helping to the people, such people we need to choose. And then political party and their ideologies, and even people have a choice nowadays to read the manifesto. Manifesto means whatever the political party is promising about their policies, if they come to power, what they are going to implement, what they are going to bring, the changes, all that list is printed and it is presented as a manifesto. So checking with that manifesto, checking with the candidates who are contesting in your particular constituency, then the people will have a good choice to vote. So that is more important. And now, before ending this chapter, children, I would like to suggest you, please go through the textbook, read the textbook thoroughly, understand the lesson, and then underline the key points in the chapter in your textbooks with a pencil, and then prepare notes yourself. Prepare the keynotes yourself, and then go with the other study material or your assignments, all those things which will be helpful for you for better understanding and learning. And always remember, this type of learning is not only for your academic part or your examinations, but it gives you the true knowledge for your lifetime. Thank you.